And welcome to CJ-140. This is Jerry Luligian, your professor. I'm going to be giving you a 5-minute learning session on the work for each week so that you can do your best. I do definitely recommend that you listen to this 5-minute speech just to get you oriented on how to do your best in the class. There has been some confusion in previous weeks with students on the exact way to do assignments. So I'm going to go over exactly what you need to do, and you'll know that very well by listening to this 5-minute speech. Okay. All right. So in our first week in Module 1, we're going to be learning about different communication styles and approaches. For example, different styles and approaches would be different, for example, on the different communication channels that we might use, such as email might be different than a face-to-face meeting, for example. We're also going to be learning about the different communication methods we're going to use depending upon what audience we are presenting to. So if it's the public, we maybe have a different communication method than if we're talking to our supervisor, for example. All right, so let's just get into the specifics of exactly what you're going to be getting into. First, you're going to do a check your knowledge. This is not graded, so go ahead and take it just to see where areas that you may have that need some work and some emphasis. Again, it's not graded, so go ahead and take it even before you get into the meat of the work for the week. Let's go through your reading for this week. Of course, you'll have some reading in Chapter 1, also Chapter 5, both on communication methodologies and preparing to speak to groups. And then there's 2 very good articles you want to read, and be sure you do read these because much of the work that you're going to be doing is going to need the information from those articles. So when you see articles listed in your resources, please do read them because, again, you'll be responsible for them, and they will also have really important information for you. They are well chosen to help you. All right, so once we have done the check your knowledge test, and now you've done your reading, then you're going to take quiz number 1. Now, on quiz number 1, what I want you to think about is that this quiz is on the application learning methodology. That is, you're not just going to be asked comprehension questions, but you're going to be asked to take your comprehension and then apply it to given situations. So be aware that it is a different kind of test than you may have had otherwise. And so keep that in mind when dealing with this, because you're going to have to find the right concept from your learning to be able to apply it to the fact situation to come to the right answer. All right, we're also going to have a discussion. On our discussion, we're going to have you first introducing yourself to the class, which is very good, and we'll all have a chance to meet each other. But then you're going to also give us 2 different communication styles, methods, or approaches that you have used either professionally or in the academic setting to solve a problem. So, for example, you may have corresponded with someone via email and dealt with a problem between yourself and that person. And you will then describe the methodology that you use, the kind of language you would want to use. And when we're dealing with a problem, of course, we're dealing possibly with people who might get a little upset with us, possibly because there is a problem somehow, and we want to resolve that problem as quickly as possible. So how we would approach that problem via email would be quite different than if we were on a face-to-face meeting with somebody and discussing the problem with them there. So you're going to want to state the problem that needed to be solved, describe how you use the communication style, method, or approach to get the message across, and then state who the audience was for your communication and describe why you use that communication style. Okay? And it may be that you use that communication style because there was no other way to communicate with them. Perhaps you couldn't get them on the telephone, so email was maybe the only way, but do try your best to describe how that happened and take it right from your own experience as your best guide to this. And then in each of your 2 peer responses, you want to identify another communication style, method, or approach that could have been used in one of your peers' examples. So try to sort of pick apart nicely and professionally their answer to suggest other ways that could have been done as well as what they've also told you. Okay, and then we have one more quiz. This is on all of your work for the week. And so you will want to keep in mind that this is both comprehension and application. So you want to be sure that you've done all of your reading. And a good idea, of course, in your reading is to outline the reading itself in terms of putting out the most important concepts and their definitions. And in that way, you will always have a list of all these concepts to help you in taking the quiz. I can almost guarantee you a very, very good grade if you will do that, because then you will not forget the material by the time you take the quiz. It'll be sitting there right in front of you in writing, and all the concepts that you will need to know will be there. Okay, so remember to read the articles, however, because some of this quiz can be on the articles as well as on the chapters from our textbook. All right, that's our 5-minute video. Thank you all for listening. We will see you in next week's video.